Going live. It's working on it. Yeah, now we're live. Say hi. Say hi, Eddie.
Hi.
Say
Hi.
So we're on a road trip down having some fun this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Ninja Park.
Yeah.
So that Monday I have something fun to say we did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So good morning. It is 5 a.m. Mester Scrum. And we're here to talk about Agile and Scrum and activities like that in business and IT and other things. And that was Eddie. So I'm down here getting ready to teach a class. So it takes a lot of effort to get the material ready to go, teaming up with my teammates. And today I'll keep it short since we are in a hotel moving around. And I just want to talk about today about getting that 30% or 50% improvement in your team and how do you get there. I'm just going to talk a couple little steps. And it is Sunday. So we'll keep it short because there's not so many people on there. Good morning. And my caps lock's on. Caps lock. Good morning. There they go. They're going out for breakfast. And it is 7:52, so it's not 5 a.m. Mester Scrum because they're all awake. And it's kind of hard, as I found out last time I did this in a hotel, that's kind of hard to set this up in a quiet place. Anyway, so by getting 30% to 50% improvement in your team, there's lots of things to do. I have a challenge right now that I have to figure out train a whole organization how to do that. I know how to do it, and I offered it to my boss. I don't know if they believe me because they're like, "We're gonna hire people," and there's a lot of things you can do without actually doing that. Because in the long run, hiring people just makes it worse. You produce worse code, a lot of HR issues, personality issues, complication, complexity, all those things. And you can, let's say you needed a 50% improvement and you hired 50% more workforce. I bet you don't make more than 20% improvement in the overall product throughput. Because you got to get the other 50% up to speed to where they know about the code. So the people that you were expecting 100% improvement capability or 100% production rate are now at 70% production rate because they're helping the other people come on board to code and to test and to know your product and know all the things in the background. So you actually don't get that much improvement. It'll be interesting to see a study, see what you actually really get. So what I'd like to suggest, two little things, and I'll talk about more and I'll go into more aspects of how to get that improvement as we go. But one thing is limiting your commitment. Making a realistic commitment will get you improvement. I guarantee you that. People may think I am full of it and I don't understand. But if you limit your commitment and allow your teams to actually complete the work at hand before dumping on more stuff that they can't complete, they will become faster. You'll get a 2% to 5% improvement in the throughput of your people by not having them overcommit. And some people will say, "You're just full of it, Greg. You don't know what you're talking about." I had a developer who didn't really believe in this whole Agile thing and the whole idea of not overcommitting and not doing that. Young guy. And he came up to me and he says, "At first, I didn't believe it, but you keep honing in on me, on the team and doing it." So he said, "For the last 2 sprints, I did it." And he's like, "I have to tell you, it actually works." He says, "I didn't take on more work. I took on what I think I could do." And he was actually excited because he completed everything he signed up for. He had a motivation factor plugged into that system that wasn't there before to get more work done. And in fact, he said it was so good that he actually went to the next sprint and pulled more work into his sprint to start working on. So by not overcommitting, they actually get the motivation and the happiness factor that they achieved what they set out for. That happiness factor in achieving your commitments is unmeasurable in how the organization can function. So if you consistently achieve your goals every day, every sprint for like 6 months, I'm telling you, your teams will be doing a lot more stuff. They will actually take on more work and actually improve the throughput of their team. So that's one thing. And it does work. The other thing is make sure you're testing. So many organizations test outside the store. They do what I call Scrummifall, and I've seen them everywhere, where they would go do the coding, not get all the testing done, and then test the next sprint. The teams that test in the sprint will get a 30% to 50 to doubling their work throughput. Now, there is a key in there. Now I'm going to say, you know what, even if you don't automate it, I'm going to tell you you're going to get a 30% improvement in the throughput if you test your work in the sprint. Where you'll get a bigger improvement is if you make that testing automated as much as possible. So where I see problems where people say, I got to go from one environment to another one, I got to run the test again. If you were to automate your testing in the development environment, so it can work in any environment, it doesn't care where, then you don't have to redo your manual testing in future environments. And you can reuse those test suites. If you really wanted to, you could use them in production. That gets you that extra percentage of improvement because you're not doing all that time doing manual regression testing later on with every environment that you move your code through. So those two things there, I truly believe. And if you do the ceremonies, that'll be another thing. But if you just do the ceremonies the way they're set up, you'll get doubling your work put in 6 months. I don't care where you're at. And I think you do it. So the first thing is don't overcommit. Let your teams meet what they commit. They will get a 5%, 2 to 5% improvement in their own individual throughputs in the system. And that's doing nothing. That's just only taking on as much work as they feel like they can get really done. And they'll bring more work in. Trust me, they will. They'll be excited. I've seen smiles on people's faces when they complete the sprint. They're excited. Excited developers and testers and people take on more work naturally. You do not have to tell them to take on more work. They actually do it. And the second factor is testing in the sprint. You have to get the testing done. And there was a blog, a tweet the other day that if you don't build it, test it, and deploy it in the sprint, you're not agile. And I tend to agree. You're really not agile. And when you really get those three things working in the sprint, you will be so much faster, better throughput and everything. But those are a couple things I just want to mention today. It's going to make this a short one. We're just going to do an 8-minute session or something like that. Please like and subscribe to 5am Mester Scrum. Have a great day. It's Sunday. On Monday, if you're watching this on Sunday and we live, and I'll put it on LinkedIn and stuff. Try the thing the next day. What fun thing did you do? Try something different in your daily Scrum. What fun thing did you do over the weekend? What's your next fun thing planned? And what's blocking you from having fun? Mix up to daily Scrum so it's not the same old all the time. Find out what they are. Get your teams getting to know each other a little closer. Have some conversation outside of just the code. Give them something to introduce themselves to each other with. And with that, you have a great Sunday and happy scrumming and take care. Bye.